The envelope was gone. Rachel Alvarez stood in her small kitchen, the cheap linoleum cool under her feet, staring at the ceramic flour canister where she kept her rent money. It was always there, folded bills inside a zip bag, hidden under a false bottom she'd made with cardboard and tape. Today, when she lifted it, she found nothing. Not a bill. Not a coin. Just air. Her breath went thin. Rent was due in 2 days. Her daughter's inhaler refill was due tomorrow. She checked the drawer, the freezer, the laundry basket where she once hid an emergency 20. Nothing. She opened her banking app with shaking hands and saw 2 transfers to a new contact, K.A. The amounts matched exactly what she'd saved for the month. A soft knock came from the bedroom door. "Mama," 7-year-old Mia asked, clutching her stuffed koala. "Are we still getting my strawberry medicine?" She meant the pink spacer they'd promised at the clinic. Rachel's mouth went dry. "Yes, baby," she said, forcing calm. "Go put on your shoes. We'll be late for school." Her phone buzzed. A text from her brother, Kyle, "Thanks for helping me out. Love you, sis." No explanation. No asking. Just those words. Rachel stared at the screen as a cold, simple thought landed in her chest like a stone: someone she loved had stolen her survival. And she would not let it stand. Before she was a woman counting quarters at midnight, Rachel was a girl who believed that family meant safety. Her mother, Teresa, used to say, "Blood takes care of blood." Rachel carried that line like a prayer into adulthood. It kept her steady when her boyfriend left a week before Mia was born. It kept her gentle when she worked 2 jobs, opening at Sunrise Cafe, mopping floors at a medical office at night, so Mia could have cartoons, warm socks, and a bed that didn't squeak. Rachel didn't complain. She stretched rice with beans, chicken with broth, time with willpower. She hid tired eyes behind a smile so Mia would learn hope instead of fear. On Sundays, she brought tamales to her mother's place and helped fix the wobbly table leg while Kyle told stories that made their mother laugh. He was older, magnetic, always convincing people he was one big break away from turning life around. A job that fell through. A car that died. A ticket he forgot to pay. Just until Friday, Ratch. He always called her Ratch. Last winter, when he swore he'd pay her back, she took out a small cash advance to help him clear a fee that would unlock a job. He bought new boots and posted a photo with a winking caption. The job never appeared. Rachel told herself it was fine. Family. She set aside money the old-fashioned way, cash toward rent, cash toward Mia's prescriptions. It felt safer than an app. Still, when the bathroom sink started leaking last week, Kyle had stopped by first, smiling as he slid under the vanity. He'd asked for her phone to connect the Wi-Fi so he could watch a tutorial. He joked, "You don't use passwords anyone could guess, right?" She'd laughed. And now the envelope was gone and the app showed K.A. twice in one night. Rachel confronted the day like a boxer, chin tucked, mind sharp. She packed Mia's snack, kissed her forehead, and turned on cartoons at Ms. Ortiz's apartment next door where Mia went before school. "You okay, Mija?" Ms. Ortiz asked, reading the panic in Rachel's eyes. Rachel nodded too fast. "Just running late." At the cafe, the espresso machine hissed, and the world felt normal for a moment. She poured oats into to-go cups, greeted regulars by name, and tried not to think about numbers. On her 10-minute break, she called the bank. The rep read from a script about authorized devices, one-time codes, and recent transfers. "It looks like your account had a new trusted device added last week," the rep said. "An Android." Rachel's stomach flipped. She only had an old iPhone. "Can you reverse the transfers?" "We can open a claim," the rep replied, careful and distant. "But since the transfers came from your phone number after the trusted device was added, this may be considered authorized." Authorized. The word burned. She called Kyle. Straight to voicemail. She texted, "Call me now." Then, "Did you touch my money?" The dots popped up, then disappeared. A minute later, a bubble. Calm down. I needed a bridge. You'll be fine. A bridge? To what? Who gave him that right? At noon, her landlord, Mr. Denton, sent a polite but firm reminder, rent in 2 days or late fee plus notice. He followed with a smiley face. Rachel felt a hot shame that had nothing to do with guilt. She remembered Mia's last ambulance ride, the night air cutting her lungs when the inhaler ran out and the pharmacy was closed. She remembered promising herself she would never get that close again. After her shift, she went straight to her mother's. Teresa stood at the sink, humming, bingo papers clipped to the fridge. Kyle sat at the table with a sandwich and a new watch, sleek, gleaming, wrong. Rachel held up her phone. You took my rent. Kyle shrugged, bite already in his mouth. I'll square you on Friday. You said that last time. He smirked. Why are you so dramatic? You act like you're the only one with problems. Teresa wiped her hands. Rachel, don't raise your voice in my kitchen. Rachel stared at her brother, at the watch that could have paid for Mia's medicine twice, and felt something old snap and something new lock into place. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She said, very quietly, give it back. Today. Kyle leaned back, mouth tilted. Make me. Rachel left before she said words she couldn't take back. In the car, she pressed her forehead to the steering wheel and fought ugly thoughts that came like a storm. Maybe she was foolish. Maybe she did this to herself. Maybe she should have seen it coming. She heard echoes of people who had never carried what she carried, budget better, ask for help, why did you trust him? The shame surprised her. It was heavy and sticky and not hers to hold, but it clung. When she picked up Mia from school, the girl chirped about art class and showed a paper crown dotted with glitter. It's a queen crown, Mia said. You can borrow it. At home, Mia drew at the table while Rachel boiled pasta. The apartment felt too small for how large her fear had become. A text buzzed from a blocked number, you don't deserve her. No name. No photo. Rachel's chest went cold. She checked the chain on the door. She looked at the tiny camera she'd stuck by the peephole last Christmas after a package went missing. It blinked blue. Working. After Mia fell asleep, Rachel sat in the dark and asked herself the questions she avoided. Who am I when no one is watching? What do I accept in the name of love? What does my daughter learn from what I allow? Her mind kept returning to Mia's small hand on her arm. You can borrow my crown. Rachel exhaled. She was tired. She was scared. But she was not weak. The anger inside her cooled into something clean and sharp. Not rage. Not despair. A decision. Morning brought clarity. Rachel opened a new account at the local credit union on her way to the cafe and moved what little remained. She set up two-factor authentication, new passwords no one could guess, and asked to place a fraud alert on her name. When the banker asked why, Rachel looked her in the eye and said, because someone I love believes I won't fight. At work, she took an extra 4-hour shift cleaning the cafe stockroom. The manager, Kim, saw the tightness in Rachel's smile and quietly approved it. Double pay for the back shift, Kim said. We've got inventory. You're good at it. At lunch, Ms. Ortiz sent a photo of Mia with a cupcake and a note, we've got dinner covered tonight. Focus. Rachel blinked away heat and texted a grateful heart. Then she knocked on the door across the hall, Mr. Lin, who had a small home security business. He'd helped her with the peephole camera. Now, she asked about pulling the last week's saved clips. They sat at his kitchen table sipping tea while he clicked through thumbnails. There it was, 2 nights ago, after midnight, Kyle's silhouette moving down her hallway, using her spare key from the fuse box, leaving with his hand in his jacket. Timestamp. Face clear under the hallway light. Rachel's stomach flipped, but she said, please send me those files. Mr. Lin nodded. Already in your email. It wasn't the rent. It wasn't the medicine. But it was proof. She uploaded it to a new folder labeled Forecourt. Then she screen captured the bank transfers, the text from Kyle, and the new device notice from her bank. She wrote the dates in a cheap notebook and printed everything at the library on her way home. That night she told Mia a story about a brave girl who lost something special and how the girl found a map. "What's at the end of the map?" Mia asked, eyes wide. "Her crown," Rachel said. "And a lock for the door. Karma rarely arrives on cue." The next day, the cafe cut hours for everyone after a bad week. Kim shrugged helplessly. "I can keep your mornings, but the stockroom extra is off, Ratch." "I'm sorry." On her windshield, a bright orange paper fluttered in the wind, 3-day notice to pay or quit. Mr. Denton had taped it on at dawn. He'd circled a line about late fees and future legal action. Rachel folded it and slid it into her folder as if it were just another receipt. Her hands trembled anyway. The worst blow came at 5 p.m. when 2 women from Child Protective Services knocked on her door. A complaint had been filed, anonymous, alleging neglect, unsafe conditions, and parental instability. Rachel felt the room tilt. Ms. Blake, the lead worker, spoke gently. "We're here to check on Mia. It doesn't mean you've done anything wrong." Rachel steadied her voice and let them in. The apartment was clean. Dishes stacked, clothes folded, Mia's chart with inhaler schedule on the fridge. Mia showed them her drawings and the crown. Ms. Blake crouched to Mia's height. "Do you feel safe with your mom, honey?" Mia nodded, fierce and quick. "She's my best friend." 20 minutes later, the women thanked Rachel and left. "The report looks good," Ms. Blake said. "If the anonymous caller repeats harassment, call me." She passed a card. Rachel shut the door and slid to the floor. "Anonymous." She could hear Kyle's voice in her memory, "You don't deserve her." Her phone lit up with a message from her mother. "Kyle says you're spreading lies. He'd never steal from you. Apologize and this will go away." Teresa had included a thumbs down emoji. Rachel went to the bedroom and cried into a towel so Mia wouldn't wake. When the wave passed, the edges of the world felt sharper. Someone had tried to take her money. When that didn't break her, someone tried to take her child. She stood, washed her face, and set the CPS card on the counter like a talisman. Tomorrow, she decided, she would stop asking for fairness and start building consequences. Rachel called legal aid at her lunch break and explained what happened. The intake worker listened, then transferred her to a paralegal named Ms. Patel. "You have proof of unauthorized entry?" Ms. Patel asked. "And bank transfers to your brother's account?" "Yes." "And a text. And a hallway camera clip." "Good," Ms. Patel said. "File a police report today so there's a record. Then we can help you file in small claims for the amount he took plus fees. You can also request a protection order if there's harassment. Don't text him except to request repayment in writing. Keep everything." Rachel scribbled notes. "What if my mother doesn't believe me?" Ms. Patel's voice softened. "You're not on trial with your family. You're building a case in a court. Let the facts speak." After work, Rachel went to the precinct with her folder. The desk officer glanced at the video stills and printed the report. "We'll reach out to him," he said. "And by the way, he has an outstanding fine for failure to appear on a traffic matter. Not an arrest warrant, but if he's pulled over, it could become one." Rachel left with a case number in her pocket and air in her lungs. At home, she wrote a letter to Kyle. "You transferred $1,180 from my account and removed $620 cash from my home. Return $1,800 within 7 days or I will file in court and include costs. No more loans. No access to my home. Do not contact me except to arrange repayment." She printed it and slid a copy under Teresa's door with a short note, "I love you. I need you to trust me. Please don't call me until you've watched the video." Then she did something that felt both terrifying and electric. She set the plan to end in daylight, not shadows. She RSVP'd to her mother's upcoming Sunday potluck, the one Teresa had billed as family only. Rachel added, "I'll bring a projector." Saturday was long and quiet in the way that precedes storms. Rachel and Mia cleaned together. They sorted toys and wiped baseboards like it mattered to the outcome, because it did, for Rachel's mind. The act of making order gave her courage. Ms. Ortiz came by with a casserole and a thought. "People like Kyle count on silence," she said. "They don't expect receipts." "Bring receipts." Rachel smiled a little. "I don't want drama in front of Mia." "Then make it short," Ms. Ortiz replied, "practical. Facts, not fights." Rachel printed large, clean screenshots. Dates. Amounts. The bank's new device notice. A still frame of Kyle's face in the hallway. She added one last page, Ms. Blake's typed note, emailed that morning, confirming no safety concerns found after the surprise visit. No commentary. Just facts. That afternoon, Rachel received 3 messages in a row from Kyle. "You think you're tough? Don't come on Sunday. I swear to God, I'll make you regret it." She forwarded them to her case email, then blocked his number. She practiced how she would stand. Chin level. Hands still. No endless explanations. The point wasn't humiliation. It was clarity. For Mia, for herself, for anyone who had confused Rachel's kindness with weakness. When Mia fell asleep, Rachel set the small projector on the table beside their thrift store lamp. The image shone on the wall, white rectangles in a row like stepping stones across a river. She pictured crossing, slow and sure, to the other side where there was a lock on the door, a bank account no one touched, and a daughter who grew up seeing a mother who didn't bow to fear. Sunday at 4 p.m., she dressed Mia in a yellow dress and tied her own hair back. "Are we going to Grandma's?" Mia asked. "Yes," Rachel said softly. "We're going to tell the truth." Teresa's apartment smelled like cumin and fried onions. Aunts and cousins talked over each other, bowls clinked, and the old radio played songs from another decade. Kyle stood near the balcony doors in a crisp shirt, wolf smile in place, watch flashing under the light. Rachel stepped in, Mia's hand in hers, and felt heads turn. Teresa's mouth pinched, then smoothed. "Rachel." "Good. The rice needs fluffing." "I'm not here to cook," Rachel said, her voice even. "I'm here to show you something." Silence fell in pieces. Teresa's eyes narrowed. "Don't start." Rachel set the mini projector on the buffet and clicked it on. A white square lit the bare wall. She connected her phone by cable, took a breath, and opened the folder, forecourt. On Tuesday, she began, "The cash I saved for rent and Mia's medicine disappeared. That night, my banking app shows 2 transfers to KA." She tapped the first slide, date, time, amount. Tap. Second slide. Kyle scoffed. Anyone could fake that. Rachel tapped again, the bank email about a new trusted device added to her account the previous week. Then she tapped the video still, Kyle entering Rachel's hallway at 12:43 a.m., then leaving at 12:54 a.m., his jacket bulkier than when he arrived. A cousin whistled low. Someone muttered, "Damn." Rachel clicked to the text from Kyle, "Thanks for helping me out." Then the 3 later messages, "You think you're tough? Don't come Sunday. I'll make you regret it." Teresa's hand went to her mouth. "Kyle," she said, small. Kyle's smile cracked. "She's twisting things. I was fixing her sink." "That video proves nothing." Rachel tapped the last slide, Ms. Blake's email stating the surprise visit found no safety issues and advising Rachel to report harassment. Rachel let the silence breathe. "Someone called CPS on me. Anonymous. The same week my rent money went missing." Teresa looked from the wall to Kyle. "Tell me you didn't." Kyle's face closed. "This is ridiculous." He stepped forward, jabbing a finger at the projector. You think a slideshow makes you a hero? You're just embarrassed I finally told the truth about you. Rachel reached into her folder and held up the police report. Case number 5971C. I gave you 7 days to return the money. Today is day 5. In 2 days I file for a civil judgment, plus fees. I'll request wage garnishment. I'll also request a protection order. He lunged as if to snatch the paper. Mr. Lin, standing by the doorway, moved between them with a gentle but firm hand. Not today, he said. At that precise moment, a knock sounded. Officer Hargrove, the desk officer from the precinct, stepped in with quiet authority. Kyle Alvarez? He asked. We need to talk about a failure to appear and an active hold on your license. We also received a report and video regarding an alleged theft. He nodded at Rachel. Ms. Alvarez, we'll follow up with you tomorrow. Thank you for coming in earlier. Teresa gasped. Police? In my home? Kyle sputtered, this is harassment. Sir, Officer Hargrove said, calm and bored, let's handle it outside. As they guided Kyle toward the door, he twisted and spat, you did this to me. Rachel didn't flinch. No, she said. You did this to yourself. The door closed. Voices rose and fell in shocked whispers. Teresa sank into a chair like someone had pulled a pin from her spine. She looked at Rachel with wet eyes. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I did, Rachel said softly. You didn't want to hear it. Teresa's gaze moved to Mia, who stood holding her paper crown. Mia, Teresa whispered, breaking, come here, baby. Mia looked to Rachel. Rachel nodded. Mia went to her grandmother, gentle as a sparrow. Rachel turned off the projector and packed it away. She wasn't triumphant. She was tired and steady. The kind of steady that stays. In the weeks that followed, things didn't magically fix themselves, but they moved. Legal aid filed Rachel's small claims case. Kyle's public defender negotiated a payment plan for his fines, and the civil judgment gave Rachel leverage to collect in steady bites, tax return, garnished overtime, a lien against a future big break. He blocked her on everything. It didn't matter. There was a system now, and she knew how to use it. CPS closed the file with a note, no concerns. Kim at the cafe restored hours after a decent month and handed Rachel a small raise for reliability. Ms. Ortiz and Mr. Lin helped Rachel change the locks and mount a motion light by the door. Teresa called twice, voice practiced and careful, to say she was baking on Sunday if Mia wanted cookies. Rachel said yes to the cookies, no to the talk, for now. Boundaries were also a kind of love. On payday, Rachel bought the pink spacer Mia had wanted and tucked it into a new over-the-door organizer labeled MIA in thick marker. She slipped $50 into a fresh envelope marked future. The word felt less like a wish and more like a plan. One night, Mia placed the paper crown on Rachel's head and said, "You found it." Rachel laughed, a sound she hadn't heard from herself in a while. "I didn't find it," she said. "I made it." Moral: never mistake a quiet woman for a weak one. A single mother who fights for her child carries more power than any thief understands, and when she chooses to stand, even family learns what consequences feel like. If you felt Rachel's fight and loved this karma-packed payoff, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Which moment hit you hardest, the projector reveal or the final line at the door? Your support helps us bring more gripping stories every week.